I'm sorry. I'm gonna pause the recording. So we start. We start the recording. So we're gonna start the meeting at 7:04. We do have a quorum and minutes of last meeting. Do we have any changes, adjustments, edits, deletions? All set, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
One second.
A second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. It's the new year. So moved. We have a guest,
Mike,
Mr. First Selectman.
Introduce yourself, please.
You're our guest.
Really?
Yes.
I'm just here to see what happens.
All right, well,
Somebody
welcome.
promised me dinner and a show.
I hate to disappoint, but.
I got a mint from Mark and here we are. Part two.
Part two. Excellent.
Glad to be here.
Welcome.
Mike,
Yeah.
you want me to take minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please. Thank you. And we have, audience of citizens.
Joe Bush, Sleepy Hollow Road.
Judy Preston, Lakewood Swimming,
Yeah.
sorry.
Joel Morosic, Sleepy Hollow.
Great. Welcome. Anything, do you have any business that you bring that's outside the agenda? Or I know you probably have a permit, but just welcome. And I see, Ann Dunick.
Hi, I'm just
Hi,
listening.
welcome. Yeah, and hi, Bob.
Hello there.
All right. Well, let's get on to it. Any communications this evening outside of no? Okay, let's get right into it. We have, first up on the agenda here is permit review, under committee reports. We have a number of LMAC, administrative approvals. Did anybody wanna talk through any of these or?
I'm happy to, so Mary couldn't be here tonight to the game, but she did walk me through these slides, so.
Yep.
In case you guys didn't have time to look at them, because they came out kind of late, so on the first slide, the first 4 permits. She walked me through each one, they're all relatively minor types of
Standards.
changes that don't impact the lake bed in
Yep.
any way. The work is being
Yep.
done to strengthen walls, but it's the top part of the walls, not the base of the walls, for example.
Yep.
In the first one, the Vining property, they wanna move the dock, but it's still within the required 25 feet.
Yep.
From the property line, so. These all seem completely appropriate for administrative.
And just so the board knows, on binding one, we had talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And as far as, we given approval that.
I thought back in
Voted.
December, right?
Yeah, it was in December.
Yeah.
I think this is just because at that time it was gonna be 25 feet off the corner, now they wanna move it even farther away from the sideline. So
Okay.
it's a no brainer.
Okay.
It's
So it's an
well,
adjustment.
yeah, it's better than our guidelines, so.
Okay,
So yeah, just so in case anybody got confused, they heard it before,
okay,
and if I could mind if I add, because I was with Mary when she looked at the Upper Woodland Terrace one as well.
Yeah,
That one is strictly, there's an existing dock there, and if anybody's ever gone by it and seen it, it's I forget,
Yeah.
it's like 12 by 12, we have the exact dimensions.
Yeah. it's been there for,
It's been there a long time, it is
Yeah.
tilted and kind of leaning.
it
That's
is,
because underneath is a old concrete dock that's falling apart.
yeah,
But they don't wanna do anything with it. It is solid, doesn't move at all, but you could tell it's slowly working its way into the lake.
Yeah,
So, but the request is to just overlay the existing wood
Yeah.
with Trex and put a new railing on this thing. And
Okay.
so our purview is not, structurally, but it does look, it's just, what he's doing with the docking, he's doing it, it's well within, his right to do it, so there
Okay.
should be no issue at all.
okay.
Then if, I don't know if there's anything else you want to, I think that's.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's any commentary.
I have
12
to
or
excuse
something.
myself, I'm gonna.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
These are all for administrative approval, so the committee, we can just move on.
yeah, that's what I was saying, unless there's any.
Well,
comments.
assuming everyone agrees. with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
recommendation.
Yeah, that all makes sense.
Okay,
Okay.
the next one,
Someone just called into the meeting, 860-942-1943. Whoever that is, could you just, please identify yourself? Good. Yeah, I mean, usually everybody has to identify themselves.
Probably ask them again.
Yeah, try one more time, yeah,
Could be on mute.
who's, calling in with 942-1943? Hello?
Dave Vanderbilt.
Oh, hey, Dave, okay. Thank you.
I don't have a picture. I'm trying to up north, so it's not working out right.
That's fine. No worries. Good stuff. Okay, thank you. All right,
next,
moving on.
the next one is Mr. Dobush's, I believe, 17 Sleepy Hollow application. This application was just submitted 2 days ago, so, there wasn't an opportunity to do a site visit, so.
Okay.
Mary's recommendation is this be added to the agenda for the February meeting.
Okay. All right.
Everybody doesn't know what the property looks like by now.
Well, I think there's quite a history to this particular application, so I don't think anybody wants to rush through it.
Okay. All right, so we'll just push it. So there'll be another subcommittee review of this
Yeah,
and then,
and it sounds like another site visit.
okay. All right,
I just have a general question.
sure.
If items 1 and 2 have been denied by the Board of Selectmen, how can they be resubmitted again? I mean, are there any changes?
I would, due to my own ignorance, I was unaware that LMAC's recommendation is a final decision that I could appeal to the Board of Selectmen.
So you haven't made any changes to this?
The first one, do you have a copy of what I'm talking about in front of you by
No.
chance?
So let's let it leave.
Okay.
Well, that or you can go to the Board of Selectmen and, I mean, just making another site visit to look at the same thing.
Yeah, there's no if he wants
you're
to
appealing
appeal to the Board of Selectmen, you can go to the Board of Selectmen and
Yeah.
raise it again.
Yeah, you go to them.
There was a change in 2, I don't believe in the original application, I asked to redeck the dock. I only asked to, I bought my visual, I wanna add this much to my dock, which doesn't seem totally ridiculous.
Well, again, you'll have to bring that to the Board of Selectmen,
You know, and I did, the wonders of Google. You know, on 4 with the steps, the board did turn down the steps. And with Google Maps, I can go back to 2008 or 2011. That do show one set of the white steps there. And I don't know when, I've been on this property, almost 65 years I've been using this property. And I know there were steps there before the ladder, you know, and the white steps have been there, you know, since I moved back here 15 years ago, or 18 years ago now. You know, and, although the picture in 2008 is a little grainy, you can definitely distinctly see the white step on the dock, going diagonal through the line property. So that's why I've done some more research, and that's why I reapplied. I'm just not willy-nilly, just trying to put it through again.
So I'd suggest respectfully, if there's any changes whatsoever to the last permit, it should be updated, it should be resubmitted here. It sounds like you may have already done that a couple of days ago. And the subcommittee can look at it and make the same or a different recommendation to the BOS based on what's in the permit right now, or what the current permit has in it. Because even that little sliver, that's a change from what was in the last permit, so.
No, this is not a lot.
Yeah.
You agree?
I agree.
Okay. All right, so you'll have another site visit and then.
We may end up in exactly the same place, but I
Yeah.
think we need to go through
Go through the process.
procedures.
Yep, okay.
Okay. The last one, is, the permit that we've discussed here before, where the dock was added without a permit,
Yes.
and, Mary's, recommendation was that we not discuss this tonight, and Mark and Steve are here if they want to say anything further, but the recommendation is that this not be discussed tonight.
Okay.
The whole discussion is that it is out of spec of your guidelines, so.
Yep.
So there isn't an easy solution other than to come in step with your guidelines or go to the board of selectmen.
Okay.
I will add that I disagree with their assessment that there is not enough water at the end of a 20-foot dock at that location for a motorboat. Because I know how much water's there. I'm lived most of my life about 4 or 5 houses down, and my cousin was the next door neighbor to that house. So I know they've got plenty of water, more water than I had in my father's place for a boat at the end of a 20-foot dock.
So I'd like, I'll speak, I want to speak to this a little bit, because there's a couple of things. They purchased the place 2 years ago. Am I correct? Somewhere in there? This is my opinion, and it has not yet been discussed with the board in any way, shape, or form. But in my position as the first selectman, there's a couple of things that I'm concerned about. You have a dock, a cement dock, that you don't want to repair, and you want to build another dock. Okay, I don't know what their frontage is, if they're allowed to build a dock, but we have procedures to be able to ask to be able to put another dock, to put a shed, to do different things to your property, especially the lake bed. That is to apply for a permit. But to put a dock on there with no permit is concerning to me. We're checking with the town attorneys. Mark sent them some time ago remove the dock from the lake or apply for a permit. I'm still waiting to get with everybody to see where we stand on that. And if it's on a spec of what we have fought for, they need to come within the regulations. If they want to build an extended dock, if anybody wants to build an extended dock so they can add more room below the keel of a boat, and you already have a dock that is sufficed, but you don't want to put the money in to repair it, I'm not sure that's really a hardship to put a dock out there and extend it into the water farther without even checking. So I have some issues with this whole thing. I love the job that LMAC does, truly. We keep a lot of headaches off of my desk in there, that I don't have to go out and look at this, and I don't have to go out and talk to people about that, and I don't, you do it, you do it. There comes a few times where the Board of Selectmen do make a difference in what you've recommended. We know that. But for the most part, 98% of the time, LMAC and their guidance and experience gives us exactly what we need to make the right decision. The committee needs to be respected. The procedures need to be respected. They need to get a permit. And until we, the people of the town, start all following the rules, makes it difficult. But it's gonna start. And I have to tell you, if we allow things like that, the ask forgiveness instead of permission way of doing business, everybody out there could put 6 docks on 50 feet of the lake and go, oh, sorry, we didn't know. What are you gonna do about it? So we're looking into what we can do and what is right and what is expected by the people who live here. And what we would ask is them to respect, again, the rules and the procedures. So, I hope to see them before the Board of Selectmen very soon. Or at least in the land use office to figure out what's going on. You know, that's why I'm here tonight. I get the background from Mark the day after, how'd it go with LMAC? Everything went fine, everything went fine. It's month after month, every time we meet. I don't really need to be here. But on something like this, you need to have my support. The town needs to have my support. Or else what do you need me there for? Right? So this, I'm looking at this one real hard.
Is there anything we can do to help support what you're doing at this point?
I will ask those who live on the dock or live on the lake or visit the lake often. I don't. And when I do, it's really to be cheery, to make sure people are doing their job, things are safe. You know, the grounds are good. I don't have a boat. I don't trail around the lake and look at things. But if you see something that's going up, right away, please give us a call. And it's not snitching. Maybe they didn't know, or maybe somebody truly doesn't know. But we're here to help them, we're here to guide them on what's right. And for the most part, things will get done. But I'm kind of tired fighting things that shouldn't have happened just because, what are they gonna do type of attitude. So I'm gonna do.
Okay, thank you.
While we have Steve here, it might be good to also share that we have been talking about the concept of wanting to put together a welcome package and work with the selectmen and the town administrator and the town clerk, so that we know when a deed is recorded for somebody on the lake, there's a welcome package that includes things they need to know about the lake that the realtor hopefully told them, but you know, it's good to be reminded by the town with respect to docks, boat usage, all of those things.
Perfect. Because when the realtor says, and you might be able to put another dock over here, and you could do this, and you know, they're selling a house. And they might, but they're not experts on it either. So put it out there. That'd be a wonderful idea. Send it to some of the people that have been living there a long time too, just.
Thank you.
Well, I'd just like to add that I'm very happy to hear what you're saying to us, because our work is not very meaningful here without that, frankly, Steve. It's kind of wasting our time if we're sitting here trying to get people to abide by the rules and the regulations, and they just go off and do what they want anyway. So, so here, thank you, actually, very much.
Great. Good. Okay, anything else on permits for tonight? No, sir. No, okay. All right, we're off to the races here. Any coordination with planning and zoning, anything coming up there that you need to look at?
No, I know there's subcommittee meeting, planning zoning, still meeting on revising the regs. And I know they're also starting a subcommittee to look at the plan of conservation development. So LMAC might want to have some input in the plan of conservation development, because that is a key document whenever any building or future subdivisions or anything happens in the town. That's a key document that's used in judging how things happen.
The town plan you're talking about?
Right, plan of conservation development, which is actually determined by planning and zoning, that's their final product. But I know the Conservation Commission, the Executive Farm Commission, they're all lining up to meet with planning and zoning to get their thoughts, open space into the document. So.
Excuse me, Mark.
Yes, Bob.
All of the commissions and departments will be notified by the Planning and Zoning Commission for input into that plan of conservation and development. That is part of the process.
Okay, and it's just started, because I know.
Yeah, it's just started.
I've been talking to Rick, and John Drukowski is gonna help us.
Yep.
Good.
But part of the process is that all commissions and all departments are notified and will have input.
Great. All right. Status of the dam,
Yeah, it's still open 4 inches.
4 inches, okay.
And end of last week, it was at 5 feet 4 inches. I don't know what it is at the moment. I didn't get out there within the last few years.
No.
Or that, they didn't even.
We're trying to maintain it at 5.6 at the moment.
5.6 is the goal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because
what
it
was
does
that?
seem
last week it was 5.4.
Yeah, well, I think it's a little bit lower now because I start to see the rocks that I see at 6 feet. Or just shy of 6
So we
feet, so.
could probably shut it down.
Yeah, let's do that, okay.
Repair.
What's that?
It's done and working.
The repair is done, great. No,
No problems. Wow, did it really fast?
great, perfect, I'm glad that I'm sure that it was gonna work, but they didn't find something else.
Well, they did say that they could talk to us for a future possibility of putting weir boards in there. So we don't have to do all this adjustment when big storm surges hit. It'll automatically go over the weir board. So a lot of gates have a weir board inside.
Inside the gate.
So something to look at for future.
Yeah, all right, well, yeah, let's definitely get it closed then, if it looks like we're getting down, past, at or past
Yeah.
the 5.6 mark.
Because if this ice doesn't last long in February, we may wanna be
Well, yeah,
bringing it
exactly,
back up again. So
Exactly.
we don't wanna go far
yeah,
5.6.
yeah. Exactly. Okay, good. Dam emergency plan, any updates there? No. Right, water quality, nothing really happening there.
Now, I know our next meeting, TRC is gonna be giving us their annual report.
Okay,
I was gonna say that we didn't, that was, he promised it
We-
last time.
We thought we were gonna do it this meeting, got it last meeting,
yeah,
because I think all the staff are being sent to us right now, so we can review it. And then I've invited Savannah our new zoning enforcement officer to come and listen to the report and also so you can meet her.
Oh, cool,
So she'll be there next month, February 5th.
great.
I don't know if this is the right place to ask this question, but what is the follow-up from the presentation we had at, I think it was the last meeting?
Yeah.
The phosphorus load in the lake and there some data there that was concerning and what kind of action plan do we have to address that?
I think that will be out of the official annual report. That'll be, sounds like it's gonna be.
Right, I know we just recently did some testing again, so I'm waiting to see the results on that. Because I think they just sent us a bill.
And we paid it last night.
Right. So you have new testing that just happened.
Right, but the gestalt, again, I'm trying to remember, the holidays were in the middle of this, but I think it was at our last meeting. We had a very, very nice presentation. I forgot the fellow's name.
Yeah, I forget the name.
And it's a pity Mary's not here, because she would remind me, but anyway, my takeaway from that presentation was that the phosphorus load in the lake is increasing and higher, that the more sediment laden with phosphorus is on the lake bed, the more likely we are when we stir that up to create algae blooms. So the data seem to suggest, and again, I'm making this up from memory, that it's increasing, which shouldn't surprise any of us that it is.
It's gonna normally increase, that's the process of eutrophication.
Right.
But what it did point out was I think, and this is what I trust we'll see in writing as opposed to just the oral report, that the focus has got to be right now on the storm drains. That is the place where we can most easily control phosphorus getting into the lake. There are various things that we can do to try to get phosphorus out of the lake. He gave some information about the siphon kind of approach, but it just made a little dent. The big takeaway I took from that was particularly with respect to a couple of the culverts that have been tested, they needed to have some more upstream review because it was likely one or two point sources that might be attributed to the problem, and we could resolve them by working with the property owner as opposed to something that the town needed to be doing at the lake end of the situation.
So just naive question on process, does that report more comes to you as a town administrator and then?
I haven't seen it yet, but.
No, but when it
Yeah.
does, there'll be recommendations in it, and
Right,
does
and
that
then-
come back to LMAC or go straight to the BOS or?
All the above.
Okay,
LMAC will get a report probably as soon as the town gets the report. Because actually, the money is contracted through LMAC, I believe. You have that money.
That's correct.
You're paying for it from the town's
okay,
grant to you,
Budget,
so I actually think the report comes to LMAC first.
And we're waiting to see if there's any more E. coli
right,
fines, and if that happens, I'm ready. I've already contacted the health district so that they'll have a game plan to figure out source.
Yeah, I mean, it was Carl Nielsen, by the way.
thank you,
Yeah,
right, yeah,
and yeah, his point with the phosphorus is, high at the inlet. So-
Right,
So,
right.
at those points of,
Yeah, and we may want to, as a result of that, form, and as a result of what the zoning commission is doing, form a subcommission that focuses on phosphorus and the town plan. Because it may be wise to be thinking about, again, about looking at a septic pump out requirement or zone or something like that. The town's looked at that in the past. There have been various reasons for the town's decision not to pursue that in the past, but it's viable to look at it again.
okay. I'm speaking on behalf of the CLA in this capacity. I'd like to mention I have 3 CLA board members sitting here with me tonight, so this is a topic of significant concern to us, and whatever CLA can do to help either get the message out or keep it moving.
Great.
We're happy to do.
We have information about it, because we talked about that even years ago, actually.
Yeah, well,
We actually put it together, and it was decided then not to make it mandatory, but make it as a recommendation. So a lot of that information is there,
Yeah.
we just gotta go back and find it now. Probably could reutilize it.
I have a lot of good information in the CLA archives. I vaguely recall seeing something about that, so I can go have a look.
Good, yeah. Good.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll look forward to the annual report in February. Fishing, I don't know if there's.
Nobody's out there right now.
Yeah. Maybe the birds, birds and fish.
More weeks.
Somebody actually was fishing.
Come on.
No, there was an ice fisherman on the lake, believe it or not,
Ooh.
out in the middle. Yeah. It's like,
Today?
wow.
No.
You know, that week when it was kind of frozen.
Before Christmas.
Yeah, you had like one day.
Yeah, right.
One day.
One day.
Small wind that
And I told my wife, I got you ice skating today. It's not only
To 3 inches, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like Saturday.
No barking, 2 inches.
no, not me. Access, safety and regulations, anything?
I don't see, on, the open business items, something, oh, no, there is ordinance revision status, we'll take it up there.
Okay, fair enough. Watershed management plan, any changes there? No. Stormwater runoff infrastructure.
We just went around the whole lake and sucked out all your culverts. So, nice and clean.
Nice. Awesome.
All right. We'll take it. And when's the next scheduled?
We do them twice a year, twice a year, 6 months.
Okay.
We did get a complaint that the engine noise is very loud.
Do you do the ones on 87, you know, it's a state road?
That's state.
So we don't do the ones on 87.
Does the state?
No. Never done them. I
Have
can't remember.
you looked in, and seen some that are full?
Well, that last really big storm, it was, it just filled right up and overflowed over by the Morans, 97.
Can you give me addresses?
Yeah,
And I could get a note out to
Sure.
DFT.
Sure.
Thank you. I don't know what the brands.
I'll actually, yeah, but I'll walk that stretch and.
Yeah,
and
give me
take-
some
I'll take a gander,
addresses
take
of
some
where you're
pictures.
concerned.
Okay,
Perfect.
very good, because there's a lot of them along there. And-
It's from Camp Ostawama to Lake Road. That's the address. And Mark,
Yeah.
let me.
But I'll look and see.
No, but I wanna touch base on it. We fight with the state all the time, okay? About maybe 6, 8 months ago, they were gonna put rumble strips on the curb on 87. Anytime now,
That was 3 years it took to at least get that.
at least to get an answer, to them to put on new arrows on there that reflected better. We talk to them every time we go to the state. It's a good 3 to 5 years to get them to do anything. But if we never ask them to do anything,
Sure.
then it's never in a 3 to 5 year plan. So we will contact the state about that.
Okay, good, then Marshall, I'll get you some, I'll get you more specifics.
Thank you. Well, but it sounds like it's
Route 87,
Route 87 is. It is.
Because they all, I mean, I could get photos if you want it, but it could all be done.
yeah.
Because that's a big part of the, that's a quarter of the lake, basically.
And not only that, the water flow from the, I want to say, the northwest side comes right down.
Yeah.
Wait till we get a flow of water or rain or something, and then it freezes, Route 87 freezes right around that corner.
Yeah.
They have the states out there dumping more and more sand, more and more salt, more and more product, which is going into the lake. So if they need to.
And what's been happening is that during those really big storms we had, and we had a couple of them, the beginning of last year, that cleaned them out. The problem is it cleaned it out and pushed it all into the lake.
Right.
And we had, a couple of inches of, in those coves all around, except, and unfortunately, now the basins were clean, which is great, but it was all dumped in there, and the same thing happened, it just fell up again, and then a bad storm pushes them through.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Hey, Mike,
Yes,
excuse me, Mike, question for Mark. He said that the next clean out for the catch basins was in about 6 months. Is that correct?
All I know is we schedule for twice a year.
Yeah,
And
I
we
was just wondering that, particularly the ones around the lake, there's a lot of sand and grit that's put down for the winter, and that all gets on the road and eventually ends up in the catch basins. Before it gets from the catch basins into the lake, wouldn't it be wise to clean those out right after the winter season instead of waiting until it's June or July?
I'll check into that.
Yeah,
maybe April or something.
Okay.
If that's possible.
He says, okay, meaning we're going to check into it.
right.
We have to check with our Department of Public Works.
Of course.
So we'll schedule things they're doing, do
Yeah,
the best we can.
yeah,
But that is subcontracted. But I know we do the whole town once a year, but the lake area is twice a year.
okay.
It really depends on when the whole town is getting done.
When does the whole town get done?
I don't know those answers.
Oh, okay. All right, maybe we can leave that as an open item, just to understand the schedule.
And being
Leave
subcontracted,
that as an open item.
then we have a little more
Stormwater, or excuse me, catch basin, clean out schedule. Thank you. Budget review, how we?
You're good. I think you had 9,000 left in your budget for all your testing,
Okay,
because we just paid a chunk of it,
okay,
so still good.
great. Open business, hydrilla prevention and clasping pondweed, any updates? Or should we just wait for the annual report from TRC?
I haven't heard anything new.
Okay,
On that, I mean, from our verbal discussion that we had and what we can do, and, there wasn't really a lot of answers and all, but the one thing that I did get from it, that, pulling the stuff out at the end of the season when it's long and a hassle
yeah,
is the worst thing you can possibly do.
yeah,
Pulling it out early in the season there's nothing wrong with that, and it would help the people around the lake. You know what I mean? Somehow we should get that, get that word out that if you don't like what's there and what happened last year in front of your lake, one, it's gonna be worse this year. And two, if you wait until the end, it'll double the year after. But if you wanna pull it out early in the season before it has a chance.
well,
to pollinate.
he said best to pull in June and July.
Right. And people knew that, because early July, it's not that high, and a lot of people don't notice it as much. It's not until it starts getting higher, they notice it, but by then, that's in August, and then they pull it, and that makes it worse.
Because it's going to seed.
Well,
Exactly,
it's the
they're
seed,
dropping
yeah,
the seeds at
yeah.
that point.
Yeah,
So if we educate the people, somehow get a notification out saying,
yeah,
if you don't like what's there and it was bad last year, if you're gonna do anything, do it early before you pull it.
yeah,
Because people will manually do it.
What was the plants that we contracted that they cut and?
Phragmites. So they cut them and poison them as nutrients are going into
Right.
yeah,
the base.
Right. Again, see.
I'm not sure they cut them. I know they put poison on the plant.
Yes. And that was all done and that was successful, but though that was grass that grows
Small.
right above the surface.
Small application where they aimed it right at the part of the plant.
Could that be ripples?
Oh, absolutely. I think we already did one on
But
this,
I-
but we can,
I think we LMAC ought to visit that again in the spring too, because ripples, in the Lake Association, gets about 100 to 150 homes around, the lake, and we wanna alert everybody.
absolutely.
we can write something for Columbia Views.
That would be good.
That goes to the whole town.
Yeah.
We've well, FYI, on the board agreed at CLA that we should have a column in Columbia News every time it comes out, so that would be a perfect topic to put in there. Although it's more relevant to people who live,
Yeah.
you know, have lakefront properties, but anything like that.
So it doesn't get all of them, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll leave that open. Geese, what's that? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, sorry.
May I suggest that you capture those ideas once you get your report back from TRC and you create your own action items? That some of that is going to be news that needs to be distributed. And then you can look at vehicles for doing that, but that's just, my guess is one action of many that you might want to take to follow up on the data that's come in.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so we'll have a list after the annual report, so. Geese mitigation with the task force,
They're still here.
You're still here.
Even when there was ice on the lake, they're still there.
And during the first freeze, they were keeping the area open in the center by just stirring the water. We need to have a cold snap that freezes the whole lake so that they have to go to the Connecticut River. But the important focus will be at the end of February, early March, is when this ice is out, to try to deter nesting.
Okay, so we'll revisit in February, see where it goes. The dam gate repair, so I guess we're good to go there, that can come off.
You can take that off.
Take off the dam gate repair. Gate key program. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I was hoping to, probably delay my pitchforks and torches at the front lawn for another month or two, but, I believe, and I speak for myself, but I think the Board of Selectmen will understand. My hopes is to do away with the gate program. It has not been successful to where it's been left open numerous times. People have allowed others to use their key. It has been boats or toys have been launched in the dead of night, after hours. And one or two have probably not met the guidelines for the lake, so. And the bottom line is it has not been successful. I look around the state, in Columbia, is we talk about Phragmites, we talk about, you know, the water and stuff, and we're still pretty clean. There's a lot of towns who have lakes who put tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars into trying to keep their invasive species from spreading. Not get rid of it, just from spreading even more. And we're not gonna do that. We're gonna be proactive instead of reactive. So, and that proactive is to, I believe we'll do away with the gatekeeping. We will toughen up the inspections for boats getting on the lake. We're in a discussion now with somebody who is challenging our wording, and I'm holding fast. 150 is 150, based on the serial number of the motor. I know I'm in for a fight, but again, rules and regulations, and so here's the gate. I think it's going. If you have one and you want your $25, then get it back to us. If you want it as a souvenir, thanks for the 25.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you'll know soon. I think we'll have that in a February, on the February agenda sometime.
Well, it's just as an open item here, so.
Yep.
So, boat launch west side area, and then we'll just leave that there.
What does that mean?
That was that area that gets saturated, we were talking about.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
to
Both the
Carmen's
wall.
property.
Yeah, and right now, I'm having Pete Donick looking at possibly doing something that could add some pavers there and mitigate. It might not be as great a solution as we were looking at, but we might want to try something to see if we could just raise it up with some pavers along there and
That would
the
be-
water just go where it
Yeah.
wants.
Another shed, yeah.
Yeah, a little something, anything.
So
just kind of-
something will happen there.
Okay,
Okay,
That would help.
and I heard the bumper there needs to be
Replaced.
repaired or replaced.
oh, yeah,
It's aged.
Yeah, you
One
got a
well.
old fire hose crinkled up, bolted on.
Well, I think it's a little more, there used to be fire hoses, it's a little more than that, but it is breaking down.
Okay, is that Pete? He's got Pete Donick, I'm sure.
mooring, the management review on moorings and rafts.
That's an item that we've been carrying forward for a number of months. And it's basically a decision or a discussion as to what position we want to take on enforcing raft regulations, because they have fallen from visibility, I would say, principally due to COVID and the fact that, you know, we weren't policing and marine patrolling and doing things like that, but there are rafts that are not in compliance. There are rafts that don't have permits. All of the rafts, I think, maybe except for one or two, don't have name and address on them. I'm not sure we need name and address on them anymore, so I think that's why we've kind of haven't really been pushing that, but it's mostly the need for a permit, the need for the size, and particularly height, and people put benches and chairs and other things on them that break the height restrictions, and the fact that when we amended and restated the regulations 3 years or 4 years ago, or now, we did deal with the concept of the fact that there were no now rafts that were inflated. There were also toys that were inflated, and made a distinction that if it comes out of the water every night, or it's inflatable, and that's a different regulation. But if it's inflated and it stays in the water regularly, then it's a raft and it needs to meet raft requirements. And we haven't been doing anything to bring that into guidance. And so the question I raised was, do we wish to do that, or should we take raft regulations out of our guidelines, or what? We're
Well, I mean, I think it speaks to, you know, like the dock that got put in, I mean, there's no, you know, we don't have necessarily a formal person that's doing surveys on a, you know, regular basis. Or, you know, we're relying on reporting or general, you know, cruising around the lake and I see something, so maybe that could just tie into something that we could look at from a survey standpoint.
I would suggest that if we, since it's been ignored, if we want to do something, we should make a public statement
Yeah,
that acknowledges that due to COVID and other things, there hasn't been attention. Sure, the regulations are available. They should be reviewed. If you need to amend your permit, update your permit, get a permit because you don't have one, get in to do it. We are going to have, and this would be obviously subject to selectmen input or whatever, have a marine patrol start this summer. examining, because there's many times that the Marine Patrol is out there and there's no boat anywhere on the lake. Well, they could spend that time starting in one place or another and going down looking at rafts, and then the follow.
Rafts and docks and.
Your docks, and from there, you know, start again. And so forth, rather than just sit out in the sun. But I do think if we tell people we're, you know, looking to enforce this and ask for their cooperation, hopefully that will lead to a lot. And there could be a fair amount of education, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that have a blow-up float that put it out there because their neighbor had a blow-up float, or they saw one down the other end of the lake, or whatever.
Yeah. All right, well, let's, I think, you know, I'd like to have more of our committee here, but we should maybe look at next month. Try and create a subcommittee to develop what that looks like, and then, you know, we could, reach out to the board of selectmen and see if there's a way we could get a survey going of structures, you know, with existing resources. So, all right, so we'll keep that going. I guess I would just add, you know, it's really moorings, rafts and docks, you know, looking for permit compliance.
Okay, well, I think people have, I don't object to that at all. But I would say,
My feelings.
but I would say that, docks, because we've been a little bit more aggressive on that, the number of docks that are out of phase are few, because we've kept our eyes open. We haven't kept our eyes open on the rafts, and so it's a bigger issue than just knowing, there's 3 or 4 problems.
Agreed, but I mean, if we're gonna be doing a survey,
Exactly, we should do it
we
all.
should just, why not do everything? You know,
Trouble is trying to find out which ones have been grandfathered and
well,
when it was built.
yeah, I get it,
That gets tough.
that, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, one of the things that it ought to lead to too, which, I'm not sure exists at the moment, but we should be establishing a file for each address. And you should, the subcommittee, when they get an application, should be able to go back and see what the last application said and what permits on file. And I don't think necessarily we have that same kind of house jacket, if you will, as they have in the building department. And we should be trying to establish that, so that will tell us what's grandfathered as opposed to having to rely on pictures.
Yeah.
So can I, Henry, is every property, are they authorized to raft?
Depends on frontage. Yeah.
Based on what?
Frontage.
How much frontage do you need, 50 feet?
For raft,
For
Yes.
rest.
you,
50 feet.
50 feet.
Yeah.
50 feet,
Yeah.
okay.
But
So-
also, Stephen, it depends on how many moorings you have, how many
Right.
rafts you have, that type of thing. So it's a complicated formula.
Bit of a matrix.
I know, so, LMAC, you got some work to do, you're giving it to yourself, because I'm not laying it on, I'm gonna lay it back on you. And I'll find a way to get it to every home on the lake. You need to come up with a pamphlet, or a small booklet or whatever. Rules of the lake, really just guidelines type of thing. These are the most, or frequently asked questions, or frequently looked at items. Rafts, they should be no bigger than this and this, or you will be asked to remove it from the lake. That's very simple. 12 by 12, 10 by 10, whatever it is. And it can have this or this on it, or not at all. I don't even know. Just tell them what's authorized. This is what's authorized. We're asking you to do what you want within the authorized specs, okay? It can be 12 by 12, you want a 10 by 10, do 10 by 10. it's supposed to be 12 by 12, you do 12 and a half. It's coming up, okay? This is the year we can say, listen, we love the lake. We're gonna protect the lake, we're gonna make the lake fair for everybody, so they can use the lake. Here's the guidelines.
Stephen, excuse me, but those guidelines are now published on the Columbia Lake website.
Which nobody goes to. Bob, I understand what you're saying, I'll get them this information.
Does the town want to mail all these things out to every person in the town?
Probably not, but you know what, if some people are up for re-election, they can take a packet of them and go door to door. Say, vote for me, I didn't come up with this. Or you know what, my wife will hand them out saying, my husband came up with this, don't vote for him. You know, one way or the other, right? So
Well,
we can get to people.
Yeah, the problem, Steve, is that ignorance of the law is no excuse. It's like, oh, I didn't know the speed limit was 50 miles an hour. Well, you're supposed to. So people that live in the lake are supposed to know that there are ordinances that regulate these things. Most people know these things. There are a few people that know them and choose to ignore them, no matter
I know
what
that,
you
but if
do.
we hand that out, to them, Bob, then they can't say, well, I never got, or I didn't know, they're gonna hand it. That's number one. And number two, if we hold the guidelines and account for them, then they'll understand. When they see somebody have to go out there and tow their raft off the lake. But the problem is, I need the authority to get it done. Okay? So, again, that's where the ordinance, and that's me working with the state police too. I don't wanna be a nasty guy. I just want to, what you fight for here. That's it. Right?
Thank you.
So we can all work together, but we have to be fair to them and go, okay, these are the most frequently ignored rules or dimensions or whatever.
Steve, we have all that, it's a matter of putting it into something that,
Yes.
and if we work with the town, I guess, and as to how do we best get it out to people, we could easily condense it and put it into a format, because all that
We've
information,
done that.
yeah, that information's there.
We had to try.
50 years ago, they used to be a book.
No, pamphlet, yeah,
Yeah.
threefold pamphlet,
It's similar,
that's
it's kind of
good, that's back when they mailed it.
dovetailing with what Henry mentioned about when the deeds come in and sending a welcome package, I think that's a great idea. But that's maybe, that's after the fact, that's after somebody's closed. Perhaps LMAC could prepare something and get the Board of Selectmen to, I don't know if it's an ordinance or whatever, but require people that when they list properties on the lake or on the lake, that they have to give a pamphlet to the real estate agent and get them to sign off. Any purchase agreement has to be signed off, like an inspection, a home inspection. You have to say, I've gotten this, you know, it's a disclosure document that goes with anything, and say, look, if you're gonna sell, there's not all that many houses that go on the market on the lake, so nobody can say they weren't forewarned when they buy the properties. There's not a whole heck of a lot of real estate agents that sell on the lake. And that the real estate agents know, and the owners know, before, when you sell these, you have to give your real estate agent and have your potential buyer sign off on this. And then there's no surprises. There's nobody coming in after the fact saying, I want a 200 horsepower boat.
Yeah. I think we're all talking the same thing.
Yeah.
Come up with a pamphlet, I'll get it to people. Right, I do like it. Hey, welcome to your new home. Here's a pamphlet, or thinking of buying? Remember that there's, you know, these rules that we hold tightly to them on the lake here, so. Get the pamphlet together, I'll get it out.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, ordinance revision status.
We had, in executive session last month, we don't need to talk about it. It was executive session, people know the ordinance. I have to apologize. I haven't had, an opportunity to, start the revision. I am volunteering to do it so that we can save some money from having to give it to legal counsel. Legal counsel will look at what I've done after everybody's done here, but what we will be doing is taking, the current ordinances and dividing them into, two, revised ordinances, one dealing with launching and access, and the other dealing with activities that take place on the lake. The launching and access, as it's been interpreted, does not need to go to the Department of Environmental Protection for review. The ones dealing with things happening on the lake will. And so my first goal.
Things that are happening on the water.
On the water. My
Yeah.
first goal is to just take our three existing ordinances and divide them the exact wording that they have into those groups. And then, so then they may be relocated, but they'll be the exact same words that we have. And then I'll make the revisions so that we have something to compare to that says, these are the words that we've changed. The location may be different, but because we've broken them into two instead of three, but that's the best way I can see to try to give people a red line. Because if I immediately take the three and break them into two, everything's gonna be red and blue lined. Because it's all been relocated into two new locations. So my first draft would be to just take everything verbatim and divide it into two instead of three. And then, from there, make these changes that do that. And
So
then,
kind of a
right.
proposal,
Right. And then we will, I think it would be good for us to start a liaison with the selectmen about, what's been recommended, and what we're doing, so that they can give us early feedback if they wish. But they can also know what's going on, and, they can start to formulate how they want to, consider them and adopt them, whether it be viewed as just technical adjustments to what they'd already approved, and or whether they want to have another town meeting on it or whatever.
Okay.
Would it make sense, since you don't have to go to the DEP with launching and access, to do that first?
Well, we gotta divide it into two, but I'm intending to spend a fair part of March doing this. I'm away in a week until March 4. But then when I'm back, this is what I'm going to do, so that hopefully at the April meeting, I have the presentation to make. I haven't had a chance to talk to Bob, who's the chair of the committee. He's been in Florida, but that's my goal. He and Mary may decide we don't want to wait till Henry's back in March. We'll start in February, which is fine.
Okay.
It's Mary's busy season too, so I'm trying to take the weight off of her by saying I'll do it in March.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do agree with Mike that we can recommend to the selectmen at that point that we can proceed with the launch part of it first, and or more rapidly. I won't say we can probably hopefully do it at the same time, but the other would have to go through for DEP review process.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, think that's. I think that's kind of it, you know, really have anything else that's. Pressing, does anybody have anything else that we need to, address tonight? No, okay. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh. Do we have a second?
Second.
Oh, yeah, I thought that one. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right.
Mark, you tell me these things